Hey guys, welcome to my garden. Today I wanted to show you what my front yard looks like in the spring. So today I thought I'd give you a brief little tour of my front side garden in early spring. Now I think we'll come back to this in the summer when it's more filled in with annuals and has a little bit more interest to it, but I wanted just to show you what it looks like now and then we can compare to what it looks like later. So in the front, this is where I have the majority of my tulips going on. I did have a large number of daffodils come up and it was gorgeous. And these tulips that I chose this year, these white, they're just so beautiful. And in the sun, they open up even more and then close down at night. And I'm so happy with them. Across the front, I have a hedge of Jackson Perkins Walking on Sunshine yellow roses. And I started with this first bush, as you can tell, because it's quite a bit larger than these two, and it's just the best bloomer out there. And if you can see, and we'll get a close-up shot later, it already has a ton of blooms on there. I just counted about 20, so super excited for that. These two shorter plants will get bigger and match the size of this older bush this year, and it's going to make just a brilliant hedge. Over to the right, where I have more tulips and I had a bunch of daffodils, you can also see I have a ton of allium popping up and they're starting to open. This is going to be so cool. So these allium are the purple globe flowers that pop up in the spring, and so this is just going to be an awesome show. I don't know what I'm going to do with this spot after all the tulips and alliums die back. Last year I did a bunch of annuals. I'd like to find something that's perennial and evergreen to put in this spot, but so it's just something I'm playing with right now and trying to figure it out. Down towards the grass a little bit more, and then down around the edge of the grass, I do have a bunch of lamb's ear, and I do need to prune these back a little bit. I just planted them last year, so I don't want to do a lot of hard pruning. I really want them to establish themselves. But I do need to get a little bit of cleanup going in there so they don't rot with the density that can tend to grow in between the leaves. So I'll be working on that. I also have a number of iris and daylilies, Ostolomeria that's coming back, and this will be its third year in this front garden, and it's just awesome. It gets about 3 feet high, and the best thing about it, it covers this beautiful cable box. Isn't it a beauty? No. So I try to get things that cover it as best we can without putting, a huge faux rock over it. Backing up a little bit, I have some salvia, and then towards the back, I have 3 Nymphophea, or I know people call it red hot poker, that come up, and they're just brilliant spikes of yellow and red that come up again to about 3 feet. You can see the trend. I'm just trying to block the cable box and in all of its glory. I usually do something along the lines of annuals coming down between the Nymphophea, the lamb's ear, and then also bordering the grass. So I'm just in the early stages of planning out what that's going to look like there. And then towards the back, I have a pot of lavender that was sort of a rescue. I don't really know where it came from, but it looked pretty rough last year, and I repotted it. Has a pretty woody base, but it's just gorgeous right now. And then in its not forever state, one of my larger pots in the back here is going to be the new home for this limelight hydrangea standard. So it's still in the pot because I was just trying to make sure I wanted it there. I had to remove a tree that had died over the winter, so I just thought I would plop it up there and see how it looks. So I think I am going to plant that up today, and then that is just going to get gorgeous in that spot over the summer. Just going to back up a little bit here. I have more allium planted that's starting to pop up a bit. And then I have a hedge of yellow canna lilies planted between the pot and this currant. So can you imagine in the summer where this is going to be a limelight hydrangea tree with a hedge of bright yellow canna lilies, and then this tall, just awesome colored currant to anchor it on this side too. Again, more daylilies here. And these daylilies were a gift from one of my parents' friends, which I always love gifts of plants, especially when it's someone who's trying to downsize their garden and they don't want to just put the plants in the yard debris bin. They want to share them with someone who's going to continue to love them. So that's what I'm doing. Planted them up in the fall and they're doing pretty well so far. Finally, in the corner, I do have a black-eyed Susan vine that will come up this trellis. And then I'm trying to figure out something else to do in this spot, but we'll see. And then I just have another pot of these beautiful tulips, which I just love. They're all over the place. Anyways, that's my front side garden. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of what it looks like now, and then we'll check back in about a month or so and see where it is come summer. One more thing, I wanted to take you guys into the back garden and show you a couple things I've been working with. I have my coffee. Hold on, let's go this way. So I first wanted to start in the shade garden. I did get mulch into a couple of the beds, but I also wanted to show you how much these plants are growing. They're just doing amazing. Some that have been up for a while, some that are still trying to come up, but they're just thriving and doing so well. I do want to point out in the path here, I do have white tubes going along the path, and that is a result of me running drip to each of these beds. I will be burying this today. So I run the black tubing through a PVC pipe just on the areas of the walkways, and then I bury it under the path so no one trips on it. So I just wanted to point that out. Also, Solomon seal. If you have never experimented with Solomon seal and you want some height and interest in your shade garden, these are the ones for you. How pretty is that? It almost has like a bleeding heart tendency to it. But as these age over time, this patch will grow and densify and spread a fair amount, but just provide a lot of that great height into the shade garden. So come down this way. I want to show you a couple more things. More shade. Just an update on where we are with the hostas that we planted along the side of the house here. So we have one coming up, this little baby coming up, a few coming up here, and then these hostas that are a little bit further along down the road, looking great. I did just put out some slug bait because I was noticing I was getting some little munching holes on there, so that's fantastic. All right, one more place to show you. Come on. So back here is where I used to have, in this back corner, is where I used to have my dahlia garden. And so I had the 5-6 footers in the back, and then they roamed around and were glorious. But I really wanted to extend my vegetable bed out a little bit further, do a little bit more of my cold weather crops here, as well as some squash and more vine-like growth in this area. So this week I dug up all of those tubers that I already had, and I moved them from this location over to this location. And I think they're going to be happier moved over a little bit because this spot does get a little bit more sun during the day than that corner spot does. So you'll notice I have a stake here. This is probably one of my bigger dahlias. It's called Bride to Be. And actually, sorry, Bridezilla. And then I have two of my Bride to Be dahlias over to the side. And then all of those tubers that I just got from Eden Brothers and from Swan Island are going to be strategically placed in this area. So anything that's a 4 foot or above height is going to go in the back. I'm going to have a path here to be able to walk through, and then I'll put in the 3.5 foot and below, 3.5 foot to 3 foot dahlias right behind the bench, and then move some of the 2.5 footers and shorter around the side. So I think they'll be really happy here. It's going to be really striking with the bench back up to the gate, and then it's going to give me a lot more room to grow out my veggies. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. Have a good one. Talk to you later. If you like what you see here today, be sure to click the like and subscribe button, and if you want to be notified of new episodes, click the bell.